Good morning, Warden Meyer, how are you?
Morning, Mr. Roche, everyone doing good.
Good. The Committee on Parole is reconvening. It's 11:24 a.m. And our next remote location is the Raymond Laborde Correctional Center in Cottonport, Louisiana. With the staff at Raymond Laborde, please introduce yourself.
Sir, good morning, Warden Marcus Myers. Deputy Warden Keith Turner.
Raven Hughes classification with the Joshua record.
Thank you, Warden Meyer. Would the offender please give his full name and his Department of Corrections ID?
Vernon Mack, 379560.
Thank you, Mr. Mack. Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Alvin Roche. Ms. Pearl Wise is to my left, and Mr. Pete Freeman is to my right. Let me explain the process to you. I will read some information into the record. We will verify that information at the appropriate time. So give Warden Meyer a chance to make comments, observations, concerns. And then we have a large amount of support here and on Zoom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you we have Ms. Marcella Jones, aunt, on Zoom. We have Sandra Winfrey, an aunt, on Zoom. We have Quenisha Watson, a niece, on Zoom. We have a Miss Gray, a niece, on Zoom. Danisha Taylor, a niece, on Zoom. And we have India Winfrey, your daughter, on Zoom, and she would like to speak. We have Miss Darlene Gray, a sister in person, and she's here in support. Miss Paulina Watson, a sister in person, and she would like to speak on your behalf. Then we have a Miss Ray, a cousin.
Aunt. Oh, must be Keanu Ray, I'm sorry.
Gallery, a cousin. Miss Jasmine Watson, a niece, on Zoom. Dominique Watson, a niece, on Zoom. And we have Charles Edward McCoy, uncle, who would like to speak on Zoom. And lastly, Cheryl Ray, your aunt in person, and she would like to speak. So we have 4 people speaking. We only allow 3. So who? And you are? Okay. The sister Pauline is out. So speaking in your behalf is Miss India Winfrey, your daughter.
India didn't sign up to speak. I'm not speaking.
Okay, so we can put Pauline back on, okay? So speaking, it would be Miss Watson, your uncle, Charles Edward, and your aunt, Cheryl Ray. Okay. After all that's completed, Mr. Mack, you'll be given an opportunity to make a brief statement on your behalf. Do you understand the process?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. Ray, you're currently 45 years old,
Yes, sir.
and you're a second felony offender. Your offense is armed robbery. You were sentenced in East Baton Rouge Parish on April 7th, 1998. You were sentenced to a 50-year sentence. At the time of sentence, you were given 164 days of jail credit. And records show that you have lost 311 days good time, and none of that good time has been restored. Is that correct?
Sir.
So you mustered up 426 days of good time, and you've lost most of it. Am I correct? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Your parole date was November 2nd, 2022. Your adjusted good time date is March 6, 2040. Your good time, your full term date is October 25th, 2047. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Wise has denied your case. Would you please answer Mrs. Wise's question?
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Going all right?
You nervous?
Yes, ma'am.
This your first hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, good. All right. But we all just here to talk about you. That's all. We're just gonna talk about you. Count out for the record how long you've served on this 50-year sentence.
Been 26 years.
You've done 26 years? Okay. How much education do you have?
Education is kind of slow.
Say again. Say it again.
Education slow. I'm slow with my education.
Okay, because you were enrolled in GED and you quit in 2011. Have you gotten back in since then?
I had took state test.
Okay, and when was that?
2018.
2018?
Yes, ma'am.
And well, what was the outcome of that? You remember?
Oh, ma'am.
Okay, so what is your feelings about HISET? What's your views on that?
I was gonna plan on if I was to make parole to get a house set once I get home.
Oh, so what do you do every day?
Work in the kitchen.
What do you do in the kitchen?
A baker.
Huh?
A baker.
You're a baker, okay. Okay, what grade did you drop out of regular school?
Made it to 11.
Say what now?
Made it to 11.
You made it to the 11. Okay, were you in regular classes then?
I was in slow class special ed, like.
Okay, okay. But did you ever get SSI?
No, ma'am.
Do you know what your diagnosis was?
No,
Did
ma'am.
you ever say why you ever had an examination to tell you why you weren't learning as fast as everybody else?
No, ma'am.
Okay, no, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. I look at you have a juvenile record. You got arrested at age 15 for being ungovernable. What were you doing? What was life like for you when you were 15?
Growing up with a single parent mother, no father.
Okay. Do you remember what was going on in your head?
Just trying to get out, try to help my mother.
Okay. When you say help my mother, what does that mean?
Pay
Tell
the
me what-
bills. Wow.
Say what?
Try to help out with the bills.
Okay. So is that the motivation for all these theft charges?
Yes, ma'am. I was trying to help out with the bills and I was trying to better myself at the same time, so I try not to commit no more crime.
So, but okay, so you were committing theft, you said, to support your family. How do you rank in the family? How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have 2 sisters, 1 brother.
And how do you rank for his age? You the second child, the what?
I'm the baby,
You the baby?
ma'am.
Okay. Like you the baby of the family. Okay. See, like every time you were on supervision, you got revoked. Well, tell me what's that all about?
I had got revoked on 1 charge because I had caught this here charge here, the armed robbery charge, and I had revoked myself.
Yeah, that's what the record shows. I want to know what was going on with you. I know that part. What was going on with you? So supervision didn't change your thing. That's what I'm asking.
Man, I just wasn't reporting in.
Let's talk a little bit about this crime that you're got this 50 years on, because you were on probation when you committed this crime, right?
Yeah.
And that's very disturbing to me. So what was going on that day? Take us back to that. As far as you can remember.
Really, when I committed the armed robbery, I really wasn't doing no thinking at the time of nothing.
Okay.
Maybe I could pull off a robbery and get away with it. First time trying it. I tried it, didn't work, didn't like it.
That wasn't your first time trying it, was it? You said it was your first time trying a robbery?
My first time doing an armed robbery.
Oh, having a gun, you said. Is that what you said?
I had a simple burglary charge before that was my first armed robbery.
Okay, your first armed robbery. Okay, I can hardly hear you. Okay. One of the things that stated in the police report, and you can tell me whether this is true or false, was that you said I was meant to be caught. And then you said I should have shot him. Then it wouldn't have been no. Do you remember saying that?
Yes, ma'am.
But what did you mean by I was meant to be caught?
It wasn't meant for me to pull off no robbery. It wasn't meant for me to commit no crime. I was trying something that I should have never tried, that I was trying something that I saw.
Do you see yourself as a person that knows right from wrong?
Now I do, ma'am.
Now you do? But at that time, you didn't know right from wrong.
I mean, I wasn't in the right state of mind.
Were you on the influence of any kind of drugs or alcohol or anything?
Use drugs.
Huh?
I ain't use drugs.
You didn't use drugs, so you were sober. You were
Yes.
sober.
Yes, ma'am.
As a part of this process, we will reach out to the victim's family, and the victim's family is opposed to your early release. Nothing you can do about it, but I just want to state that on the record. You also have law enforcement opposition to your early release, and I'm just stating that for the record. Those are opinions that we get that factors in to making our decision. When I look at your case, have you counted up how old you will be when you get out on good time?
You up in my 60s, probably early 70s.
Yeah, well, if my math is correct, you'll be 63. So you're working in the kitchen, but you're also taking victim impact, right? You got enrolled in that in April, right?
I graduated from it.
Graduated, great,
Graduated
great.
from Victim Impact.
That's good to hear. What did you learn?
I learned that not just that they're a victim, that my family and everyone else is a victim as well as the crime that I committed. That I didn't just hurt my family or the victim family, I hurt the community and everyone else.
Okay. Now, if you had an opportunity to speak to the victim's family, what would you say?
I would rather to tell them that I'm sorry and that the crime that I committed, I know that I can't take back what I had done, but I'm very sorry for the crime that I committed and that it will never happen again. And I've got to pay them in any kind of way that I have to.
You would say what now? I didn't hear the last part.
I try to pay them in any kind of way that I will have to pay them, and if any help that they need, I will be there to try to help them.
Okay. Well said, well said. The record shows that you're the father of 2 children. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What's the ages of your children?
Both of my children are grown.
Okay, okay. What kind of relationship do you have with them?
I talk to my daughter off and on.
Okay, what about the other child?
I haven't talked to my son since he was born.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Okay. So there's 2 different mothers?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let's talk about your write-ups. What's going on when you're in your disciplinary?
I was young at the time when I used to catch the write-ups and everything. I was fresh into the institution. A lot of the write-ups that I caught, I was young, fresh into the system, and then don't know better. Over the years, I got wiser and I'm catching the write-up.
Okay, that's good to hear. Yeah, that's what we say too. As you get older, you get wiser. So your last write-up was in 21. There was a 5. And what was going on there? July 19 to 20.
Aggravated disobedience, refused to dress out, get a haircut.
I can't hear you. I can't understand.
Well, aggravated disobedience when I first came up here, yeah, I got wrote up for refusing to dress out.
You was refusing to dress out.
Refusing to put the other state blues on.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. And you got 10 days in segregation for that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then before that, February 21, you had a 28. What was that all about?
Aggravated work offense.
Yeah, what was that about?
Didn't report to work.
And why is that?
I had went to work, but I had went late. I got rolled up.
Okay, okay. And I want to look at your history, then 21, and then in 20, you had write-ups, 2 write-ups in 20. I won't go into them, but we are in 23, so you are turning the corner and stop getting write-ups. What changed? When did you learn about this parole hearing?
I had learned from the parole hearing right after I had made it up here in 21.
Oh, okay, okay. Right after you made it up here, right after you get out of
When I came from Angola to RLCC.
Oh, okay, okay. So are you telling me that when you got that write-up on July 19th, you knew a parole hearing was coming up?
Oh, ma'am.
Huh?
Oh, ma'am.
You found out after you got after you got your last write-up? I mean, I'm not clear on that. You might be telling me, but I'm not hearing. When did you find out that you had at least a possibility of parole?
Found out after I had came to general population.
Okay, okay, okay. Well, that's a very good motivation for change behavior. Very good. So if you're successful today, tell me, where would you live and how would you support yourself?
I'll try to find me 2 jobs and once I get out.
And where would you live?
I'm gonna be living with my sister.
Okay. Okay.
I
All
have
right,
a-
go ahead. That's okay. That's okay. The system will get the address and all that.
I have an ad that has some information with jobs lined up for me to look at.
Who has that?
My auntie Marcella.
Oh, okay, good, yeah, good. Now, because according to the records now, you've been in jail, you said 26 years, you've had 60 write-ups in the 26 years that you've been in jail. I'm just stating that for the record. Gordon, anything you want to tell us about this young man? Thank you for answering my question.
Wow.
Yes, Mr. Wise, I mean, as you know, that write-up he got, in, 21, that was the day he arrived here. And I'm sure the parole hearing is a good motivation, but I also like to think that we're helping him out because, as you see, he had a extensive disciplinary history when he was in Angola. A lot of guys do, as we know, but he's done a lot better since he's been here. You referred to his education, and we discussed that yesterday in our meeting with him. He was TABE tested in 2018. He didn't make it through the 11th grade, and my education department tells me that it would take him about 6 months to a year to get his GED. So I would like to see him do that. I think that would benefit him greatly. And he is, he's currently enrolled in my Boys to Men program. As y'all have heard me mention that before. That's a self-help program that, that we created here that, he doesn't earn any good time for it. He did that voluntarily on his own. So I'm happy to see him in that, and I'd like to see him complete that as well. He's got a little work to do. I think that education and this program will help him out greatly.
Thank you, Warren. I appreciate it. That's all I had, Jim.
Warren, excuse
Go
me.
ahead.
Warren, what were the two contraband write-ups in 19 and 20?
Mr. Freeman, I don't have those in front of me right now. What were they? You remember what they were? Or not? One of the contrabands. Hold on. I do. I'm sorry, I do. They have it over there. The boxing in 2019, Suboxone strips.
Okay.
And he's telling me a cell phone was the other.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mack, what were the aggravated fights about?
One aggravated fight that occurred for me when I was in Angola was behind a guy playing homosexual game with me. The other aggravated fight occurred when I was at work where someone threw something on me and you get rolled up for aggravated fight.
Somebody threw something on you?
Yeah, and I threw something back.
Okay. If there's no more questions, we'd like to hear from his uncle, Charles Edward McCoy. Would you please open your mic?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, please state your name and your relationship to the offender.
Okay, my name is Charles Edward McCoy, and I am his uncle.
Give us your statement.
I'm sorry.
Give us your statement.
Oh, my statement. I'm sorry. Yes, sir. Well, since Vernon, well, like I say, he's been locked up. He and I have talked quite often. We talk mainly a lot of times about his case. As far as casework, he's pretty much, gotten really knowledgeable about, far as, like the laws and everything. He's held quite a few little odd and end jobs here and there, like say, which, kind of like say, pretty much built his character. And, like I've tried to help him out as much as I possibly could, rather it be, like say, either between advice or there'd be sometimes when he might need, a little something, I try to, send him a little, something. I know his sister's been, has been helping him out too. But, like I say, his attitude has changed quite, considerably. He tried, like say, basically like a lot of those, as I was listening, those aggravated deals, he's really not done anything really to anybody unless they, started on him first. And like a lot of times, well, I'm not saying, it's right for us a fight, but well, prison is prison. I imagine you would have to keep, the other person off you. But, like say he's used, he's had like a few like the reentry programs, the victim awareness and all of that. And
Mr.
I'm
McCall,
sorry.
would you
Yes,
wrap
sir.
it up? Would you wrap it up, please?
Yes, yes, sir. Well, like say Vernon, like say he's, she's changed up quite a bit, and of course, if it ever had, that was ever needed, he can, he's welcome in my house, and also, like say, it is time, and he deserves it for him to be released, paroled or what have you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. McCall. Can we hear from his aunt, Michelle Bray?
Yes, sir. Hi, good morning.
Okay, you can stand for. Just give your name and your relationship to the offender.
My name is Cheryl Ray, and I'm Vernon's aunt. And his uncle and I were married, and 1 month after we were married, Vernon came to live at our home. And I always told him he was my first baby. I had to drop him off at Rosenwald. It was an adult learning center. And I did not like the environment. So I learned early on that academically he was behind because I tested his reading. So I became very disturbed and upset with the school system because I didn't understand how they had advanced him and he was unable to read. So at that point, I brought him to the Sheridan Adult Learning Center. And they agreed to help me with him. And so that he wouldn't be embarrassed, they would take him in a separate room to help him with his learning. And at that time, his uncle got him a job where he was working. He was 19 years old. And he's named after his dad. He was also Vernon Mack. And he has a record in Angola. So when we call Vernon school. So when he went, I think he was trying to get his dad's image and be like his dad. Was raised in church, come a family that believes in God, that has morals and values. Tried to instill the right thing to do. But at that time, I don't even know. He had an understanding and he hadn't been properly diagnosed. And he did have the opportunity to help two young men while in Angola. At that time, I was serving as youth director in my church. And they had these two young men that were going astray. So I thought it was a good idea for them to bring them along with me and my family to Angola to visit with Vernon. So I brought these two young men, and they were from the Northdale community. And I brought them to visit Vernon. So when we got there, I was always emotional because of the love that I had for him. And I asked school, Vernon.
That's okay, school is fine.
I asked if he would speak to them privately. So I allowed him and another gentleman at Ango to take them to another paper to speak to them as a truthful man. And it was me and my family, my sisters and their husbands, who were all there. And I don't know what took place in the conversation. This has been years. So same two gentlemen. One is an engineer today and one is a teacher. Whatever that conversation was, it put them on the straight and narrow path. Vernon, you know, he came in. His mom dealt with drugs, trying to overcome drugs. His dad was impossible. We had a lot of odds against him when he came into my life. And my sisters and I, at that time, we didn't have any children. So we just took him as our baby. And just wanted to love on him, show him a better life. So I'm just praying that God allows him another opportunity. Because he was 19. So I just thank y'all, and whatever the decision is, we just accept it. Thank you for your time.
Ms. Ray, you're more like an adopted mother than I. Thank you for your statement. Now we're gonna hear from Ms. Pauline Watson, his sister. Please give us your full name and your relationship to the family.
Pauline Watson, and I'm his oldest sister. Ain't she just kind of, like, I don't know how I'm gonna come back from that, but I mean, we always hurt because everybody in the family, even though he was the baby, you know, trying to, but, you know, we can tell him, like the old folks say, you can lead him to the water, but you can't make him drink. And that's how it was. And it took, we hate that it took him to go to jail. And when he got in, he still had that mentality of he was out on the street. And I'm the sister that didn't take all that and would tell him, no, that's not right. And I was the one he wouldn't call because he knew I was gonna get on him. And I'm like, how are you gonna be able to get out on in the world when you still have the same mentality? So we all encouraged him and supported him and told him, look, you have to do the right thing. And you have to distance yourself from the people that you're hanging with, you know, because they're gonna be in there and you're still gonna be in there, but you wanna come home. If you wanna come home, you have to do the right thing. And I'm very proud of him because over the years he has shown it, and I was the first one to tell him, he gets it now. He's changed, he's more humble. Even in the words when we would sit at the table, when we visit him, it was just totally different. And my grandmother, so she died, and I wish she was here because she was one of his biggest fans. And she always told me, don't give up on him. And I never did. And I always would push him and talk to him. If it took me cursing him out to get it, that's what I did. If don't call me if you're not gonna do right. And of course, two people that was locked up and they would always give us feedback if he was doing the right thing. But he hang around this person and we would tell him, and he never knew how we knew this. You know, we didn't tell him. But he have came a long way. We have talked about education. That's my twin sister. He's gonna live with her. And I think that's the best because I'll be more harder on him, but she's not gonna be soft on him, but he'll do better with her. And he have came a long way. He's not perfect, nobody's perfect. You know, it took a lot of stuff that he did in there, and you know, I didn't understand, and I'm what, why? Just why? You know, why would you do that? But he have. And I hope you guys will let him come home. And we all have been talking to different places for getting him jobs. And I have a friend of mine that they give people that come out of jail opportunity to get a job as well as disabled people. It's called up there. And my other auntie, she been looking into some places as well. And I think he's sorry for what he did. He really is. He talked about that a lot. But like I told him, all we can do is move forward. What are you gonna do moving forward? How are you gonna change it? How are you gonna impact somebody else when you come out and tell them your story, your testimony, so they won't go down the same path. Even his son, talk to your son and let him know that's not where you want to be. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Pauline,
Sir,
is Mr. Darlene gonna be a good sheriff?
I can't hear
Is she gonna be a good sheriff?
you. Are you a chef?
Yeah, Sheriff.
Oh, yeah, look, I yes, she is, because I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna be on him. So she really, she is, she's not as hard as me, but she's hard too.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Vernon,
Yes, sir.
want to give us a brief statement before we vote?
Sorry for the crime that I committed, and I hope that y'all find y'all hard to grant me parole.
Ms. Wise?
Yes.
Are we ready to vote?
Yes, we are. That's the loudest I heard you speak the whole time I was interviewing you. That last statement, it was the loudest I heard you speak. And what I'm about to say is gonna be hard. It really is hard, but I do believe it's what's best for you. And it's just my vote. For me, I want you to hear not yet with what I say. Not no, but just not yet. My vote is a deny because I agree with the warden. You need to get that high set. You need to get further programs. I need a longer period right up free. And but I want you to cooperate with the education department and make that a priority and come out with your high set and any other program that you can take at this time. There is victim opposition and there's law enforcement opposition. And I urge you to reapply as soon as you're eligible for a hearing and have all of your family here with you. But they need to see that you continue to control yourself. You've done it for 2 years now, so you can keep it up. Not yet. That's what you see.
Mr. Freeman,
I concur with Ms. Wise for the same reason.
Mr. Mack. Mr. Mack, listen to me good. You need a GED. And I know that you have some disabilities. I'm dyslexic. I wasn't diagnosed, but I worked through it. I had to work a little harder than everybody else to get it. But if you work really hard, follow the guidance of Warden Meyer, take the programs, Warden Myers will do his best to get you enrolled in that GED program. He'll give you help, but it's left up to you. When you're almost finished with that GED, reapply. Reapply. With additional programming, with some education under your belt, you will be successful when you are released. The name of the game is not be released, but stay released when you are released. It is our responsibility to see that you have everything you need to be successful when you are released. And you don't have everything right now. So my vote is the same as Mrs. Wise and Mr. Freeman. It's not no, it's not yet. Good luck, young man.
Thank you all so much.
Thank y'all for
Thank
coming.
y'all.
Yeah, thank y'all so much.